Here are 6 things you can do to decrease entitlement in your children. We are living in an age of entitlement. We have all kinds of cultural shifts that have decreased responsibility for yourself, the values of hard work, and shifted over to I'm entitled. I'm entitled to this without any effort. I'm entitled to this just because. I'm entitled to this because this other person has it. And it's very important because our adult children are leaving or not leaving, I should say, our homes because they feel entitled to a better lifestyle. So why should I go try? I'm only going to make $12 an hour. That's not worth it, so I'm not going to work. I'm not going to be able to have a good house on my own, and I'm going to have to work too hard, so I'm just going to stay home and live with mom and dad because it's not worth working for how much money I can get, and I don't want to live in that small apartment. So all of these different attitudes are having a negative impact on our ability of our children to live good, self-disciplined, responsible lives as adults. Therefore, they're impacting us as parents when we can't launch our children and have them be independent of us emotionally, physically, and financially. Okay, so the first thing is that we want to praise kids for their actual performance. You don't want to tell your child, you're the best dancer, when your child can barely dance. Or, wow, you're a great, great, great artist, when your child is not able to hardly draw. You can say, good try, good job, I love the way you stayed in the lines when you colored that picture. I love the way you drew that dinosaur with that long tail. Wow, I can tell the difference that this is a brontosaurus and this is a Tyrannosaurus Rex. I can tell, all kinds of things that can praise your child, but in a way that reflects reality and not this grandiose view of you're the most wonderful, amazing person there ever is in this task, when in reality your child isn't. All of us are created special, unique, and wonderful because we are God's children. Very important to teach children that. But it doesn't mean that I'm great. What it means is that we value all life, all people, whether a person has no ability because they are born with disabilities, or they can't walk, or the person has diminished ability to perform things. We're all equally valuable. However, the reality of what we can do needs to be conveyed in a way that builds the person up, but keeps it commensurate with what they really can do. I hope that makes sense. We want to teach our kids to delay gratification. Gratification means I want it, I get it. I'm hungry, I want to eat now. I want the hamburger, I get it. I want candy in the checkout line of the store, I'm going to get candy. I want a new car, I get a new car. I'm 16, I want a car, it should be new. That's instant gratification. I want somebody to make life easy for me, and I demand it and I get it. So gratification means I'm satisfied with what I want, I get what I want. No, we don't want to give our kids everything they want. We don't want them to have instant gratification. We want to teach them from a very young age to delay gratification. There are studies, one of them was done in the 60s at Stanford, that showed that kids that were 3 and 4 years old that could delay gratification, as evidenced by waiting for the teacher to come back into the room to eat a marshmallow or a cookie. Those kids that could wait had lifelong better relationships, better grades, better success, better accomplishments across the board. Delaying gratification is incredibly important, and it needs to be taught starting with little kids. The next one is to allow kids to endure their consequences. No helicopter parenting, no running in there and making the teacher change the grade, demanding the coach play your child, whether your child shows up to practices or not, demanding that the teacher give your child a better grade, or excuse the fact that that paper was late or not turned in, or that your child forgot something. None of that. You've got to allow your child to experience the consequences of what your child does, whatever that is, good and bad, perfect. If the child does well, we experience success. If the child doesn't do well, the child doesn't experience success. We know this scripturally talks about what you reap what you sow. If you sow to the good, you reap good. If you sow to the bad, you reap bad. This is all about logical consequences or cause and effect. What you do has a particular outcome. And if you step in and you cut off that outcome, you have cut off the opportunity for your child to learn and grow and be responsible. So when a child makes a choice, there's a consequence, and from that consequence should come learning. Learning if that choice was good or learning if that choice was bad. If that choice was bad, then there should be a correction, and the child learns and grows and develops character that way. And that's what we want in our children. The next thing is to moderate material goods. We live in a very materialistic society. When we have a huge number of people who the minute a new iPhone comes out, they go and they get a new iPhone when they have a perfectly usable iPhone. And I'm sorry to say that a lot of these people who get iPhones are children, teenagers, and young adults, and those iPhones are provided by parents, and the child did nothing to pay for that new iPhone. The same thing with getting your child a brand new car when the child turned 16. I know parents who had a brand new car sitting in the driveway, and these were moderately well-to-do but not wealthy parents, sitting in the driveway waiting for the child to turn 16. This is not good. Your child, when you make it all about material goods, because again, what were the things that were valued? Being famous, having good looks, and having material goods. All of those are shallow values. All of those are not scripturally things that God would say, this is what your life should be all about. There's nothing wrong with any of those things, but again, having those as your primary goals kind of misses the mark in a lot of ways. So you're going to moderate material goods. Make your child work for things. Make your child save for things. Make your child understand that life is not all about materialism. There's other values that matter more. And you can throw in there that life isn't all about having to look perfect, having to be perfect, and maybe point out some of those things about those Instagram photos that have been photoshopped, and how people's lives aren't all what you see in a picture that the person chooses to post, so that they won't think everyone else out there has a perfect life and they're the only one that has internal struggles or issues or problems. So the next one is to monitor your kids' activities. You need to know what's going on. You need to know if your 10, 11, 12-year-old son or daughter is either looking at pornography or posting provocative pictures online, because that again is something that is commonly done now in young people, because that's the society and the culture, and that is the competition that the child is paying attention to, and seeing that other people and friends their age are doing those types of things. So you got to monitor that. If you leave it unmonitored, you put your child at risk. And you may all of a sudden find out that your child has gone way beyond that and wonder how it happened. You need passwords to everything that child has. You pay for it, you get the password, you're still the parent, you moderate it, you make sure, you check it, spot check it, know what that child is doing. The next one is to teach values and virtues. Teach the values and virtues that our culture has lost. You've got to be intentional about that. You got to teach your child hard work, teach your child responsibility, teach your child about being loyal, about being kind, about being good, about having character, all of those things that we have lost as a society. We now have to intentionally teach our children. And I think it's interesting to look at all of this and recognize that, like I said, it's kind of an uphill battle, because our culture has changed, and everything in our culture is teaching narcissistic entitlement. But we know as parents that having our children feel entitled is not a healthy, good thing for them. So I hope that this has helped you. I hope it gives you some ideas of some things that you can focus on. So thank you for watching this video on Change My Relationship.